a seat. Mr. Suresh Liladharrao Borker.
Yes, sir.
Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Quickly tell us something about yourself.
Sir, I'm Suresh. I come from Nagpur, the town called Kalmeshwar near Nagpur. Then I have done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Nagpur University. Then I did my master's in disaster management from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. My hobbies include singing Hindi songs, writing couplets, poems, and doing meditation is something I do. Apart from that, sometimes I prefer to do mimicking the acting from movies to enjoy.
Right? You do it professionally or just to make your friends laugh?
Just to enjoy.
Good. Please, sir.
Okay. You finished your engineering in 2016.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember anything of mechanical engineering? If I ask you, do you remember zeroth law of thermodynamics? Body A is in equilibrium
With body B, and if body C is in equilibrium with B, then A is also with equilibrium with C. Yes.
So now apply the same principle to the foreign policy of a country. One country named India. Think of two other countries where this formula applies, and think of two other countries where this formula does not apply. One will be India, India's foreign policy. You get my point?
Yes, yes, yes.
So let's see.
May I take few seconds?
Yeah, sure.
Suppose India has good relationship with USA, and India also has good relationship with Israel, if I can say. And USA and Israel have good relationship, so there is chance that we will have good
It
relationship.
does not apply.
Suppose we have good relationship with USA. At the same time, we are having good relationship with China. Then China and USA being a little bit antagonistic.
Relations with China. We have good relations with Russia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good out of box thinking. Now tell me, what is the dispute between Maharashtra and Karnataka going on, and what is the solution of that?
So it is associated with the territorial dispute on Bedgaon, and since there is a significant population in Bedgaon, which is a Marathi-speaking population, so Maharashtra claims that Bedgaon should be included into Maharashtra. However, Mahajan Commission was appointed by Government of India, which favored on the side of Karnataka, and Maharashtra did not agree to that, and the matter is currently sub judice.
Okay. There are certain areas of Maharashtra which are very prone to suicide by farmers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So suppose you are made the district magistrate of that one such district.
Yes, sir.
So what are the various things you will do so that this problem is curtailed to some extent?
Sir, since farmer suicide is a complex issue, penetrating to agrarian stress coming from water scarcity, availability of non-formal finances, etc. I think long-term solution would be replication of a model of Radegan Siddhi and Hevre Bazar to elevate the water scarcity issue. That can be one. Apart from that, diversification of money supply, income sources, that can be one. For that, we can go for strengthening of SHGs. We have example of Lizzat Papad, which has done tremendously well in that field. So such model can be done. At the same time, I can think of Manrega, which is existing scheme of government, and implying using Buldhana model of Manrega, where local resources are used for local building, local constructions. So in that way, we are reducing the cost of materials. At the same time, we are giving the diversified source of income to the people living there. So these are the three things I can think of. Thank you.
Now tell me, what is the nuclear command authority here? On whose command suppose a nuclear weapon has to be fired. Do you know what is the system?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, we have a civilian command over it and not the military one. So Prime Minister is the one, if I remember right, who has the power.
There is a political committee.
Yes.
And there are some other things also in that. Are you aware
So,
of that?
I have to read about that, sir.
Now tell me, ethanol blending is being talked about.
Yes, sir.
So now being a mechanical engineer, you tell me, right now we have achieved 10% of
Yes, sir.
blending and our target is 20%.
20%.
So will the same engine work with 20% ethanol blending or some modification is needed, or from what percentage onwards you've got to modify the engine?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware of that.
Which is the maximum percentage of ethanol blending which has been achieved in the world?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware.
Which are the other countries, the most pioneering countries in ethanol blending?
I'm not aware, sir. Sorry.
Now tell me, what are the lessons we have learned from COVID as a person, as a society, and as government? As a person, as a society, and as government.
As a person, I would say the need of society to every individual in order to cope up with such black swan events, and at the same time the significance of hygiene, if I can say so, at the personal level. At the community level, I can think of the although social bonding and social cohesion can be there in society, but there can be events where structurally the social bonds get or the physical distance is such that even social bonding and the relations cannot help. So we have to be mentally prepared for that as a society at that level. If I may give example, there have been funerals where people could not participate. So that is one. At the level of government, I think the preparedness is something which is very much required for any such event in future. And taking lesson from this, we can think of our capacity building, assessment of vulnerabilities, etc.
You did something in disaster management.
Yes, I did masters.
You did masters in that. So now tell me, you are the district magistrate and an earthquake has happened.
Yes, sir.
You are sleeping in your house at 2 o'clock. You get this information from the control room that earthquake has taken place and so many buildings in the city have been demolished. So it has been affected. So tell me, as a district magistrate from there onwards, what will you do?
So first and foremost would be the activation of district disaster management plan, which would be there under 2005 Act. Rescue operation and relief operation is first, and getting police, medical services and other services, fire extinguisher, other services into. Also cutting the for time being electricity off, that can be one to prevent, and saving life and life of people would be on the priority. And establishment of incident command system, that would be another, to make sure that all nodal department work in that favor.
Anything else?
So in long term, we can think of reconstruction and then mitigation of things, but primary would be relief and rescue.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Welcome to Suresh.
Thank you, sir.
See, of late, Russia and China has come very close.
Yes, sir.
And China is now very dominant partner.
Yes, sir.
Russia is a junior. We have border issues with China. Suppose if something happens in future, how far we can rely on Russian support in such circumstances?
Sir, time has proven that Russia has been a very reliable partner in past as well. And I think if not tangibly or militaristically, if Russia is able to help us to counter China, at least diplomatically, Russia would be the first country to build pressure on China to avert from such activities which hampers our national interest.
You can say he is a younger brother. China is a big brother in relationships.
Yes, sir.
And we are a friend. So you say one side friend, one side the big brother. How can I have leverage on my big brother? Do you think he will lean more towards China than towards India?
Looking at the relation, I'm optimistic and hopeful about Russia's behavior toward India, and probably Russia. It would be difficult for Russia to take directly in favor of India, but still Russia would work in favor to prevent our national interest. I believe.
Okay. So you have been participating in debate on some third prize in
Yes,
this curriculum debate competition. I give you a topic. You speak 30 seconds in favor of the motion and 30 seconds against the motion.
Yes.
The institution of marriage has lost its relevance.
So may I take few seconds?
Yes.
So for the motion, institution of marriage has lost the relevance in the sense that there are individuals who demands a private space away from the joint family, and that's also there is significant rise in live-in relationships where people wish to explore the possibility and compatibility with the partners rather than just getting into institution of marriage. There have been cases of increase in divorce cases, so that is something the institution of marriage is getting challenged. At the same time, as we saw during the pandemic, there have been cases of domestic violence. So, and marriage as a social institution is kind of a social bondage as seen by some people. So that curtails the liberty of individuals and also institutionalized form of patriarchy, if I can say so. So marriage has not lost its relevance since human is not an island but a part of continent, and it requires social bondage and mental support, a healthy family to sustain his life. COVID is one example where it was required. Second, I can think of though people there are criticism that marriage is the institution of patriarchy, but I think there are marriages where both the partners have worked in favor of getting best out of each other rather than pulling each other down. Third, marriage is institution of procreation. So if we want a society to go ahead, a civilization to go ahead, marriage is something, a stable institution which provides for. Apart from that, marriage as a social institution has significance in order that it generates a lot of economic activities in society. So to have that in society is also and gives a moment of celebration as well.
See, we had introduced GST sometime past. We kept few items out of GST.
Yes, sir.
What are those items?
So petroleum products are out of GST.
What else?
I have read, but I'm unable to recollect that.
Very, very important item. Major source of revenue sustainability.
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recollect.
We don't drink.
Alcohol. I don't drink, sir.
See, liquor is for personal consumption, okay? But petroleum is also an input for many industries. Don't you think petroleum should be at least brought into GST net?
Sir, in longer term, I think it should be brought under GST, but there is apprehension from the state that they will lose out their share of revenues coming out of that. So I think evidence-based policy making would help that in longer term. So we can think what revenue loss would happen to states, and then we can think of considering it.
Okay. See, there is old pension scheme and new pension scheme.
Yes, sir.
Now, many states have new pension scheme.
Yes, sir.
But employees are demanding old pension scheme.
Yes.
Suppose you are posted in a state as IAS officer, staff association demanding reverting back to old pension scheme. You have been given the task to speak to them and convince them that new pension scheme is better. How you will do that?
Sir, my staff is demanding for the old pension scheme.
Yes.
Sir, first, one of the things which I can say is old pension scheme has puts lot of pressure on the exchequer. So if the staff is working with me, I think I will try to convince them on the in the fashion. I'll tell them that since they are part of the institution and it is the complete institution which will face the economic challenges.
Listen to such talk. Only thing is how they are concerned about themselves, their future, their family.
Then I will talk about positives of new pension scheme. That since money is getting invested into market, probably that can give them better revenues in longer run, better returns on the investment. At the same time, there is certain portion of government which is also going into market along with their money. And since the pension scheme is open to all, it is more inclusive than old pension scheme. And on that line, probably I'll try to convince them.
Very convincing, but I'll tell you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The subject is political science and international relations. What is the contribution of Maharashtra in general and Nagpur in particular in giving rise to opposite poles in Indian politics?
Ma'am, in opposite poles.
Opposing poles, what are the different strands of politics that Nagpur has contributed to Indian politics?
Okay. Ma'am, Nagpur has been the origin of one of the most influential pressure group in India, working in India, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. So we have seen Congress system in Indian politics, and the influence of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh on BJP and the subsequent ideology, etc., has posed the counter challenge to the Congress narrative or Congress ideology. That is one I can think. At the same time, Maharashtra, as a land of social reformers, have always given another perspective to whatever dominant ideas are there in the societies, and removal of orthodox thinking or orthodox ideas coming out of that. Apart from that, the worker movement has been very strong in Maharashtra as well. In other terms, the subaltern group like Dalit Panthers have been from Maharashtra only. So the voice to subaltern group also comes from Maharashtra. So these are some contribution I can think of.
In terms of international relations, what is the difference between neorealism and realism? And what stance has India adopted after the world order has been changing?
Realism specifically talks about it believes that states behave in a fashion of human nature, that it is power seeking and it always go for power, and there is no value of ethics such in the international relation. In neorealism, there is element of structures as well which influence the choices, and it's not that states can take their actions on as independent body, but also influenced by the system and the structure around them. As far as India is concerned, in recent times, I think the strategic autonomy which India is trying to maintain on the global platform, when the world is not bipolar or the world order is in flux, where our national interest is something which is priority to us, we are making issue-based alliances, issue-based partnership, and we are going with like-minded country. At the same time, preserving our values and principles which we wish to.
Right. Speaking of alliances, what is the new model of South-South cooperation that is being offered by India in the G20 summit?
In general, I have idea about South-South cooperation,
No,
but
the
in
model that was proposed during the G20 summit, Jaishankar has been one of the innovators of the idea. What was the idea?
I have to read about that.
Right. What is the general difference between NAM and strategic autonomy? How has strategic autonomy come to differ from NAM?
The origin of NAMs comes in the context of bipolar world, where you had USA and USSR in the global platform, and India was someone who was not aligning with any of them, considering our prior needs and our principle. Strategic autonomy fundamentally differs in this context it is situated. By that I mean there is no polar, bipolar or tripolar world at the global level. There is no specific world order, it is in flux, and there is no single country which can dictate terms to anyone. And yes, today by strategic autonomy, we are promoting multilateralism. At the same time, we are making sure that our national interests remain prior to as our priority rather than any other country dictating what are their problem and what we should do.
Weren't we inclined towards multilateralism during now?
Sorry,
Weren't we inclined towards multilateralism during Canada?
we were, ma'am.
Then what's the difference?
Ma'am, the situation where it was situated, I mean, the context it was situated, the NAM and the strategic autonomy.
Alright. Last question from my end. What are the two concepts that India has offered to Western theory and thought?
Mandala theory is one. Mandala theory by Kautilya.
What is the comparable theory in Western political thought?
System theory, dependency theory, core, periphery, but that would be a larger picture.
Are you sure?
I'm a bit doubtful about that.
Okay. Second?
Buddhist thought of, or if I can say, India was the mother of democracy as it was theme of 26 January. So it is not the Western concept, it was all Indian. So we have given them the concept of democracy.
Alright. How is it different from the Western democracy?
As far as I understand, Western democracy is something which is given from the top. Indian model of democracy has come from within the society. We had samitis, we had sabhas, we had Buddhist Sangha, where it was, although at a smaller level, but we had a democratic culture where people used to participate and give decisions, even before Western society had imagined of that sort.
So you are from Nagpur.
Yes, sir.
What was its earlier name?
The area was called Central
What was its earlier name?
Nagpur's.
Nagpur.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Why it is called as Nagpur?
There are two theories. One theory says since there is a river called Nag River in Nagpur, from this the city gets named Nagpur. And Dr. Ambedkar had said since Nagpur is a place of Nagvanshi people, that's why Nagpur is called as Nagpur. So there are two theories.
It is related to some king cobra.
In the logo, there is a Nag in Nagpur.
Okay, your mother's place is Chandrapur.
Yes, she belongs to that district.
Then that was the part of earlier, it was Madhya Pradesh. Have you ever read something about it?
No, sir.
You have taken PSIR
Yes, sir.
and leaving your own subject away. Any reason?
So from mechanical engineering to PSI.
Detailed, you have read it for 4 years, now suddenly changing to.
Sir, during my masters, we had some topics from political science in our masters as well. So that is one. Second, I had a discussion with my seniors which optional to take, and according to their advice as well, they said that if I should go for optional where I have interest. At the same time, considering the success ratio in UPSC or uncertainty of the exam, I must have that capacity to read the subject for longer period. In that way, I went for PSI.
You are related to ISR, especially international business, but when you see the choices for us, foreign service is at a 5th place.
Yes, sir.
Not matching to your subject.
Sir, if given a chance to work as an IFS, I'll work there with full dedication. There is no doubt about that. But there is a difference in theoretical understanding of the subject and practically implementing of that on the ground. Also, there is also reason I wish to work in India primarily. That's why and some preference had to give it. So I went for IFS on the 5th level.
Maldives have changed its stand. Earlier go out.
India.
Now, not go out, then in different way they should stay. What is that? India, to India.
So earlier they were asking India to take their troops out and they had given us deadline as well. And recently the Maldivian government is asking our troops to train their personals so that they can carry out operation. Recently there was a case where there was a need of troops in medical emergency, and government did not allow the Indian army personnel to help them, and there was a casualty. So and there is a resentment from local population as well. So and now Maldivian government is asking that our people should.
Why we want to be there? In
So-
this fall, we have diplomats or something like that. Why we want to have a contingent over there, whether it's military or non-military?
So I can think of two prime reasons. One is the India's approach of Sagar policy, that we care for countries who are smaller neighbor. At the same time, we try to build our soft power around the region. And second is security concern, considering the growing footprint of China in the Indo-Pacific region, and in the rise of Indo-Pacific as the new geopolitical theater in the global politics. I think it is very much significant for India to have presence in such countries. Although our primary need is to cater the population in such countries and help them on the humanitarian ground, but it also gives us opportunity to see what threats are coming from other countries like China, particularly.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You are fond of composing couplets.
Yes, sir.
Which quality in Ghalib's Shairi, right? I presume we are talking about
Shairi, yes.
Which quality of Ghalib's Shairi makes it so eternal that even today, 150 years after his demise, we still read as if it's written by someone contemporary?
Sir, if I can say, probably the attitude of Ghalib when he writes, and also the issues which he has written upon, that makes him relevant.
Enumerate a few.
As far as attitude is concerned, there is one शेर which goes like, वो पूछते हैं हमसे गालिब कौन है,
उन्हें बताएं,
बतलाए क्या.
What does it tell? Does it simply a bit of arrogance about him?
So it can be said from one perspective that's arrogance. At the same time,
Okay. Give me a couple of shares where Mirza Ghalib talks about himself in superlative terms.
sorry, sir.
Where he compares himself to an angel.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
तुझे हम वली समझते?
Sir,
Okay.
I'm more into writing than reading.
Oh,
That's why.
okay, all right. Dushyant
Kumar.
Kumar has brought something new to the world of Shairi. What would you say?
Sorry, sir.
The use of Hindi words. He has introduced almost Sanskritized Hindi words into Shairi. All right, no problem. Would you recite something which you have written?
Sure, sir. There is a couplet I had written during COVID time about parents. उनसे खैरियत पूछना तो कई बार पूछना, उनसे खैरियत पूछना तो कई बार पूछना, एक दो सवालों में माँ बाप नहीं खुलते. So our parents have tendency of not telling. There is another which I had written about atheist people. वो काफिर किसी खुदा को ना मानने वाले, वो काफिर किसी खुदा को ना मानने वाले, इबादत करनी हो तो माँ बाप के पाँव दबाते हैं.
Oh, cool. Okay, changing slightly. In this field of EVs, right, the biggest challenge is battery
Yes,
and
sir.
its life.
Yes, sir.
Essentially, the rest is all just a dabba made of mechano sets, a wheel, a few wheels, and some seats.
Yes, sir.
Right. The real technological challenge is here, for which the most essential element is lithium.
Yes.
Now, in the future research, what do you think? Lithium is, of course, in extremely short supply compared to the size of the demand.
Yes.
So, what do you think is the next element which can replace lithium? If I were to direct, say, $10 billion towards researching on the next stage of technology for battery packs, which element would I try procuring, and which element would I try, let's say, bidding on, putting my bet on?
So hydrogen.
Hydrogen or fuel cells, that's a
Yes.
separate fuel cell. I'm talking of hydrogen fuel cells will be brought in for, okay, point taken, that is there, but that's a different technology.
Yes.
I'm talking of replacing lithium in EV battery packs.
Sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
You'll have to think of the periodic table.
Yes, of course.
What does it tell you?
The group which lithium belongs to, some
one?
element from that.
Alkali. Which one? Which is the next one after lithium?
Be, beryllium. If I remember right.
B has 2 electrons.
Sorry, sir.
Right below, extremely freely available on Mother Earth. Lithium, sodium, potassium. Sodium.
Thank you, sir. I have to go through the periodic table completely and then.
Lithium, sodium, single electron. I gave you the hint also. Anyway, what can you tell me about gallium nitride, on which severe research is going on in this direction as substitute for lithium? But since you don't remember the periodic table, probably you may not recall this.
So I have to read about it as well.
There was a cruise called Ganga Vilas inaugurated by the Honorable PM recently. What does it? What is its significance?
I think it skipped my reading, sir. I'm not aware about it.
It connects NW1, which is Ganga, from Varanasi to Kolkata. NW2 is from Guwahati onwards, Dhubri,
Sadia to Dhubri.
onwards till Sadia. So, what is the significance of this cruise? It connects NW1 and NW2, but what is the significance?
So, probably, if I can think, we are bypassing the Siliguri corridor, the Chicken Necks corridor.
That of course we are,
And
because there is no river over there.
So I have to read about that, sir.
Okay, very quickly, it's going through Bangladesh. After 71 war, this corridor was close to us. And yes, strategically the importance is that you're going through this. So it provides a backup for transportation of very heavy artillery, whatever is required. Anyway, that brings us to the end of your interview. What's your own impression about your performance?
I need to brush up on
Some basics. Yeah.
Some basics. Periodic tables for sure.
For sure. Would you like to give the feedback, sir? Alokji?
They work out. You can think out of box. That is one thing I like about you. When I put across that zeros.
Yeah.
There was no
Relation. No correlation between them.
correlation. So you could think while moving also. So that is a good thing. Keep that in your mind. And Maharashtra
Yes.
related issues. When is the related issue?
20th February.
20th. So about
8 days.
8 days. Okay. I think you are all set to go. No issue from my side. And keep reading the newspapers.
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
because it seems that you are not reading the newspapers.
I could not read today's newspaper,
Read newspapers.
but in detail.
The last question which chairman sir asked, you missed out on that. So at least from now onwards till you time of your interview, don't miss out on any
Current affairs issue.
I'll advise that on the day of your interview, even if you are not able to read that morning's newspaper, go through the news of the previous day. It's available on so many websites. Okay.
Is it in the first half or the second half?
First half, 9 morning.
But till then, go through the editorials of all the newspapers you're getting and
Yes.
all past issues, whatever assorted topics, right? Apart from that, I think you're very much ready.
Sir, voice modulation, if I can ask,
okay.
it was fine.
You're okay.
That was right, absolutely.
Your hands could be better used. You could have slightly better eye contact. The thing is, 2/3 of the time, that's the thumb rule. At the person who's asking that question, 1/3 of the time towards all others.
Okay.
And apart from that, hand gesticulation, since you are expressing yourself very vividly through your words, you could also use your hands for that additional touch.
So is it fine if I use hand?
Yes, it's encouraged.
Okay.
It's encouraged. Only it should be in sync.
Okay.
Technically, the more mocks you attend, the more confusing. Because people
Be natural,
be
right?
natural.
How can you be speaking so expressively while your hands are just lying at without any movement?
Yes.
And how could you be speaking at an even pace while your hands are dancing? Of course, obviously, that's
Yes.
not. They should be in sync. That's all we ask. Okay?
Yes.
You're through? Carry
Ma'am,
on
in
or-
PSIR,
Yes. So I think we are pretty much in sync with the concepts of it. Try to use the names of the thinkers whose concepts you are using.
okay.
Right. Also, please go through, because the foreign policy is very fast paced right now. They are literally using modules in foreign policy at the moment. Please be very thorough with them. Okay. Best is to go through speeches that are being made.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.